We as Guardians have suffered a sizable power loss in the Edge of Fate, with ability cooldowns and enemy health skyrocketing and build crafting options becoming much more limited. The beloved Orb of Power also fell victim to the power crippling. Orbs have always been something that if you know, you know. A relatively unassuming system that could be easily tapped into for health, ability cooldowns, and even gun damage. While this still is the case, the recent power shifts have caused orbs to be much less potent on their own. Or have they? Orbs of Power give you just that, power. This power can come in many forms and can tap into multiple effects simultaneously. The boot mods offer the most straightforward benefits, but these are also the ones that took the brunt of the force with the recent nerfs. Recuperation gives a chunk of health when picking up an orb, but now only offers a small portion of what it once gave. According to Bungie, the health gains dropped from 70 all the way down to 20. This is, in theory, made up for by the health stat, which now offers varying amounts of health on orb pickup. This doesn't mean that recoup is suddenly terrible. In fact, while it's not as good as it once was, it's still just as valuable. You'd be surprised how far 20 health can go in the heat of battle. But there's also another mod with a similar effect. Better Already offers an instant start to your health regen. This was clearly the inferior choice pre-Edge of Fate, but now Better Already offers a much higher heal count as opposed to its chunk health counterpart. Better Already also improves if you have more health stats, since the extra recharge rate can really boost up the health gains in a shorter period of time. Both of these mods are good. In fact, I'd say they are a necessity. Even a small boost of 20 health can keep you alive when you need it most. Is it weaker than before? Yes, undeniably. But considering it's still the most reliable way to heal outside of the solar kit, it's hard to deny its effectiveness. As I mentioned, the leg mods were hit the hardest with the Edge of Fate shift. If you've seen my previous video, you'll know all about the ability gains and how they don't work exactly the way they say. This goes for ability gains through orb mods as well. If you're lacking in melee stat and pick up an invigoration mod, you're not going to see very much melee energy returned. The combination of different orb mods to gain additional energy, that's also essentially gone. You're better off slapping 2 melee energy orb mods instead of trying to combine a melee, a lowest ability, and a triple energy mod. That sentence might not make sense to some of you, but there's no sense getting into it here since it's not worth doing anyway. Again, if you know, you know. Or rather, if you knew, you knew. So both health and abilities are harder to get through our orb mods, so are orbs even worth investing in anymore? Yes, absolutely, and you can get even closer to their former glory if we simply look a little closer. Leg mods aren't everything. In fact, orbs fuel just about every part of the mod system in some way. Kickstarts need orbs to, well, kickstart your abilities. Just like the other ability gains though, kickstarts suffer heavily with the recent nerfs, so I'd avoid them for the most part. What shouldn't be overlooked now, however, is the fonts. Font mods offer stat boosts in exchange for armor charge. Pretty straightforward. One font mod will give you a plus 20 to a stat, 2 will give you plus 40, and 3 will give you plus 50. So if you're lacking in an ability score or simply want to give that little bit of extra to your main stat, fonts are a great way of doing so. Even more impressively is that you can use multiple font mods at a time, receive full benefits from each, and they don't even drain your armor charge any faster. You could slap on triple class font, weapons font, health font, grenade font, and super font all at the same time, and you get the benefits of 50 stats in each of those as long as you were feeding relatively consistent orbs. Now, I will tell you this, that all sounds a lot better on paper. In practice, it can be tough to sacrifice some of those armor mod slots for extra stats, especially considering they're 3 energy apiece and can restrict you from some pretty important mods. There is a genuine case to be made for fitting a font or 2 here and there though. Even running 2 separate fonts is 40 free total stats for just playing the game and picking up orbs as normal. It's not crazy powerful, but definitely worth keeping in mind for the right build that needs that little extra oomph in the stat department. Finally, in terms of mods, I don't often see folks using finisher mods. These have all sorts of effects. Some give big energy chunks to your abilities when using a finisher, one heals you, and another will just create special ammo. These shouldn't be overlooked. They offer a much higher ability gain than, say, a kickstart, and some, like Special Ammo Finisher, can make a really big impact on what kind of weapon loadout you can fund with ammo. I think what I found most impressive was simply the healing finisher. It gives a huge spike of health, and while it seems about the same as what it was, it definitely is much more impressive now considering the hits to our other forms of healing. So there's plenty of options when looking at orbs and armor mods, but these offer a sprinkling of power, a little bump to your health, a small portion of your abilities, a far cry from what we were able to once achieve with orbs. However, this is where the conversation shifts. It's important to remember that our subclasses also offer effects through orb pickup. Strand grants Woven Mail for a few seconds, Void gives Devour, and Prismatic offers a slew of effects depending on your equipped super. In terms of what I've always believed has been the orb's greatest strength, healing, Void and Prismatic both offer incredible benefits through their orb pickup effects. Void, as I said, offers Devour. Devour is great. Get takedowns to generate instant health and grenade energy, but on Void with orb pickup, it doesn't require that initial takedown. While the Echo of Starvation fragment is equipped, picking up an orb will instantly proc the Devour heal, regardless of whether Devour is active or not. Having high health stat and picking up an orb while you have recuperation gives you a lot of health. Having high health stat and picking up an orb of power with Echo of Starvation gives you nearly all of your health. While the grenade benefits of Devour may not always be applicable to your build, a massive instant heal is. Where recuperation alone might save your skin in a fight, Devour will keep your skin from needing that save altogether. But I also mentioned Prismatic, which has its own version of Pick Up Orb, Get Thing fragment. Facet of Purpose offers different benefits on orb pickup depending on your currently equipped super, and while having an arc super nets you the offensive bolt charge effect, the rest offer something defensive. The Stasis Frost armor, Strand Woven Mail, and Void Overshield all serve similar purposes, all for 5 seconds, and they're all collectively okay. Don't get me wrong, they're not terrible, in fact they're actually quite good, but compared to the last super type, Solar, it's hard to say that they stack up. A Solar super will give restoration when you collect an orb, again for 5 seconds, but 5 seconds of unstoppable health regeneration is tough to pass up. It heals fairly quickly and can be halted by incoming damage. Compared to the Devour heal, it is slightly different since Devour heals instantly, whereas Restoration is applied over time, but in practice they both keep you just as healthy. Unfortunately, while our healing orbs aren't healing quite as much as they used to, there's still a few effects that can really keep you in the fight. We've talked about various stats you can gain, the abilities you can replenish, and there's even more I didn't mention, like surges, which can push your weapon damage a bit higher. And yeah, all of these effects are nice, especially the healing, but they all revolve around the creation of orbs, so being able to create more orbs will net you more overall gains. So let's make some more. Siphons are your main source. They create a medium-ish orb on flavored weapon double kills. There's also hands-on and firepower, allowing you to create orbs through your melee and grenade respectively. But those require mod slots and kills and planning. Disgusting. If you've been around the channel for long enough, you know where I'm going with this, so let's just rip off this band-aid now. Attrition orbs! Attrition Orbs is the best weapon perk in this game, hands down, bar none, no discussion. If you disagree, you either haven't used Attrition Orbs enough, or you're just plain wrong. You don't want to be wrong, do you? I'm just playing, but no, really, Attrition Orbs is a seriously powerful weapon perk, and coincidentally, it just got buffed. Attrition Orbs. Sustained weapon damage creates an orb. That's it. It's really as simple as that. Its simplicity is its greatest strength though. Take note of the wording. Sustained weapon damage. Not sustained weapon damage on a single target. Remember when you did that strike and you couldn't get your hands on a kill because someone was using Eager Edge to fly all the way to the end nearly instantly? We've all been there. In fact, that might have been me flying ahead. Sorry about that. My point is, it doesn't matter if someone is stealing your kills. That's the one drawback of siphons. They require kills. Is the only enemy around a boss? Well, no orbs for you. teammates scooping up all the enemies? No kills for you, no orbs for you. Attrition orbs is the orb creation that requires no thinking. Spray it into a group, focus on a single enemy, even weapon perks that explode or deal additional damage count towards creating an orb. And the buff it got? It makes orbs even faster. The one exception to this is the velocity baton, but that's fine because we don't even need that thing anymore. We only need one weapon. The Multi-Mach. Yeah, some of you were waiting for those words. The Multi-Mach is a lightweight SMG with kinetic tremors and attrition orbs, and it's the best legendary weapon in the game. When looking to use attrition orbs, the only thing that really matters is your magazine size and rate of fire. The quicker you can burn through your magazine, the faster attrition orbs is going to work. It's based off a percentage of your magazine size. That's what makes Multi-Mach so incredible. Fast rate of fire and a not too large magazine. The recent buffs to the orb production rate of attrition orbs really sealed the deal here. It makes a satisfyingly reliable amount of orbs at regular intervals, and while those orbs may not give a lot of super energy, they will all activate any other orb-related effects. Half a magazine for Devour, half a magazine for Restoration, or Grenade Energy, or stats from fonts. All those effects we've talked about are now just a few bullets away, without having to worry about the toughness of enemies or your kills getting stolen. Then you just slap on a kinetic siphon and now you're creating more orbs than you'll know what to do with. But alright, enough about Multi-Mach and attrition orbs. Maybe you're just not an SMG enjoyer. That's cool. There's plenty of other weapons with attrition orbs, but again, try to keep it on something that shoots fast. The faster it shoots, the more orbs you'll get. With one exception, the Mercury A, Destiny's first longbow. This kinetic bow has both kinetic tremors and attrition orbs, and while I would normally say that kinetic tremors is simply a personal preference, here, in this case, I'd actually redact that. Bows take 5 shots to make an orb with attrition orbs. Enhanced kinetic tremors takes 2 bow shots to proc. The enhanced part is actually important there. So between the 2 bow shots and 3 kinetic waves from kinetic tremors, that's 5 total hits. That's an orb. That is 2 bow shots per orb. I don't have it myself, but if you do, let me know how it is. And I will definitely be jealous. I'm dying to try it. Ideally, you'd pair attrition orbs with a damage perk, which most likely means you'll want it in the first column. But those who are looking for something more specialized, let me show you something else. The shoot to loot attrition orb combo. This is pure utility. You're not clearing rooms with this thing. You're not dealing damage with this thing. It has one purpose: feed the build. These weapons will make orbs and pick them up from afar by simply shooting them. It's purposefully weak to create as many orbs as possible with attrition orbs. This is the perfect primary for folks who want to double down on a particular ability build or special weapon. It's not for everyone. Most folks probably don't have a problem running over to collect orbs, but if you see value here in this combo, get one. Subjunctive is also craftable, by the way. But I think that's all I have to say about orbs for now. It's a tough time to be a Destiny fan right now, but if you still enjoy that core gameplay and want to work around those nerfs, orbs might be the way to go. Yes, they've been nerfed, just like everything else, but with the right attrition orbs weapon and armor mods, you can really push back against those nerfs and recapture some of that power fantasy we once had. Hopefully you've learned something new that'll help you get some more oomph out of your latest build. Have you been in the know about orbs, or is this the first you're hearing of it? Let me know down in the comments. Until next time.